Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John Sports for the 28th of July. Well, again, we're just seeing the effects of, that steel reset beginning to rise. It's actually starting to bring with it a little bit of midterm buyer. And this is what we talked about, this dropping shakeout that would then eventually turn to a little bit higher. Histogram reading, well, this is what the reading was, just to verify what the numbers are. Can't hurt to know. So we had a previous 587, I raised that up just a little bit. And the current reading, we're looking at 665. Of course, the day isn't done. That can still drop lower, but it's starting out. And we've faded off some of that. This is that pump, fill back in, right back to the ABM gold from an ES standpoint, NASDAQ. Also looking good, especially with that nice drop of orange coming straight down like that, setting up for the potential move higher. And of course the EU with its wonderful austerity stimulus package, which was just hundreds of billions less than they probably need, but certainly caved to some of the more conservative members of the EU bloc that really just didn't feel like it, despite what was going on. But there's nothing the EU can really do about the rising euro either, because they're relying upon also the US liquidity, and it's not like they can just turn around and dump a bunch of euros to drive it down. So they're sort of stuck, and not in an enviable way. And from oil, we're just flatlining until, likewise, this is clear stabilization, because certainly we still have more supply than is needed. It's just going to be a question of when some activity will resume. I know it was interesting, you had all those nurses and doctors on the Capitol the other day talking about, various methods to deal with the virus, and especially getting kids back to school and stuff like that. And so it got removed from Facebook, YouTube. So it's a crazy thing watching censorship like it is these days in America. It's a unique time. And from a gold standpoint, of course, gold's just going to continue its assault, because you're going to throw another $1 trillion+ at a lot of other things, and that swimming of liquidity at some point is going to start creating asset price increases or deflation. Two sides of the same coin. Needless to say, from a 5K standpoint, we started off with a little softness, and then we mostly had really nice signals. This is the one I've been talking about to a lot of people, where it happens all congruently, where you get the cross of the magenta below the azure line. At the same time, you've had your dip of orange with red rising. It works out pretty darn well. Likewise, a little bit closer over here. In this case, you didn't quite get orange dipping all the way below red at that point. You did form your orange candle just a fraction, 1 bar later. Needless to say, it still works the same way. Likewise right here, next bar, boom. And some of these even predate the orange blue candles. So it's going to be an adjustment that I'm working on right now that hopefully it'll be part of next month in the updates, but it's just going to mean a little bit sooner. And then we're also going to know those that tend to fade a little bit early, because we're going to see that crossover signal where you start your move, and for whatever reason, steel or whatever caves below the cyan, and or the cyan is still already above red and green, and that usually becomes a trigger point for softer rallies. So it's one of those where you start to look at it. So for instance, for me, the nice signal here warned you right about here that you're going to have some weakness, and you did get it eventually, but it does produce turnaround configurations within it. It's just going to mean being able to have stops and then re-entry kind of configurations. So I think that's always going to be helpful. As always, I will put up anything relevant on the Skype chat. I know we've been having some good discussions about setups and which configurations work ideally. As always, though, trade well. We'll talk to you later.